Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Leather Lounge. I'm your host, Sean Longstreet, community advocate for Leather Wallet. This week, we are diving into the world of ROO coin and exploring the blend of meme culture and finance, dubbed MemeFi by our guest, Jack Bin Switch. Jack has spearheaded a dynamic community at the heart of the Stacks ecosystem, and he's been attracting a mix of artists and innovators and builders. And if you missed yesterday's session, because today is part 2, yesterday was part 1, we talked about the tokenomics of ROO and the innovative DMT mints on Stacks with Ian Banksia. Definitely worth a listen. So if you missed it, listen back for part 1, because Ian really breaks down how DMT mints work. They started on Bitcoin, but we can also take this concept to Stacks as well, because it works like data storage directly onto the Stacks blockchain rather than IPFS. But he's doing more than just data storage with this, and we're going to dig into all that with ROO. So today, part 2 of our ROO series, we continue the conversation with Jack. We'll go deeper into the community building aspect of it, the art that's being made by the artists. There's gaming elements going on, and everything else happening in and around the ROO community. We are also going to be checking in with Brett from Gamma on the back half of the show. We're going to be learning more about their Gamma Summer Pass, and I'll be giving away 2 whitelist spots at the end of the show as well. So if you would like to be eligible for those, please check out the details in the tweet pinned in the nest. So you'll need to follow, retweet, reply with your Taproot address, and I will announce the winners at the end of the show. Also, if you haven't yet shared the space, please do so we can fill up the lounge today and spread the word about all the good things ROO. Also, hit that request button if you would like to join us on stage. And with that, I'd like to welcome back to the Leather Lounge, Jack Bin Switch. Jack, thanks again for joining us.
Man, thanks for having me, Longstreet. It's been a lot of fun these past few days. And it's been a lot of fun since we spoke yesterday, man. So how's it going? How are you enjoying your time back in the States?
It's good, man. I definitely miss home, but it's obviously good to see family. And it's really fun for me to be able to keep this going and kind of taking this Leather Lounge on the road. I know one day we're going to do in-person events as well. I know that's something that we would love to do. So
yeah, I love to see the outreach from Leather right now. It's really good. It's smart, and you're doing a fantastic job. And it's going to be especially important as we sit here, and you could see it today in the markets just out of nowhere. It's quasi euphoria. Well, guess what? I mean, it's just going to continue. We are in a bull market. It's going to continue to get bigger and a little crazier, and that's when the people come, and the people need help. So this is a good idea. It'll pay off very much for Leather.
That's good feedback. Thank you. Leather is firing all cylinders right now. And currently, they're hiring as well. I think there's an engineering position available and the community lead position available as well. So they're still accepting applications and doing interviews for that. So yeah, Leather is firing on all cylinders, making sure that the community engagement is happening, and obviously, like, priority number 1. Leather usage, UX is always just top tier. So thanks for that feedback, man. I appreciate that.
No, and you said it all right there. Community engagement. You know, that's what makes that's what makes some of this stuff a whole lot of fun, especially with meme coins. The community is such a big part of the experience, not just the chance to get an outsized gain, right? Or an outsized financial, stroke of luck. It's the camaraderie and the fun of actually being a part of a crypto community, and that's really cool. And then when you start talking about decentralized communities, because what is Stacks? Stacks is just a giant decentralized community relative to something like ROO, especially, right?
Yeah.
It's not we're not working with Stacks, the software company. We're working with Stacks, the decentralized blockchain. And community is such an important part of what we're seeing and what we're learning and what we're doing, because if we're serious about decentralizing money, if we're serious about Bitcoin's value proposition at the deeper levels, then we need to be serious about community. So yeah, it's in the culture, the cultural aspect of crypto is fun and unique, and that's really what makes such a big part of what we do here. Just it's different, but it's different in the best kind of way. And Stacks as a whole does it better than anywhere else. Stacks has the best community, best blockchain community in crypto by far. There's no set. Second place, this is the only place second place goes to Bitcoin, if we're being honest.
Yeah. Well, I can think of no one better to talk about decentralized communities than you. So let's, like I mentioned in the intro, part one yesterday, we really focused on DMT mints. I want to circle back to that toward the end, but why don't we start with a recap for you on tell us the initial ideas that sparked ROO and the thought process behind the tokenomics and how you launched this project.
The coolest thing about ROO, where we started, was this idea of what makes a token good, and can a meme coin be more than a meme coin? It all kind of starts there. And so when we launched, we were very conscious to try to do things that would make this as good for the health of the token as possible. Long term, good for the health of the community that holds the token as possible. So we took, for instance, every bit of liquidity that we raised went into the liquidity pool immediately. We had initially 42 million tokens. When we go, I can't remember the exact amount now, but it was something like 63,000 STX that we raised during the original swap for ROO. And every single one of those STX went into liquidity. And then all of the corresponding ROO that needed to go in there went into liquidity. And when you balance the liquidity pool, we found ourselves with about 900,000 more ROO than we really needed. We're like, all right, let's burn it. It's, it was things like that where we just really wanted to make this fair. We didn't want whales. When people came into the ROO community with that original sale, they were limited on how much they could buy, right? So that was a way for us to try to make sure we had as good of a token distribution as humanly possible. And then there's just the transparency, where we just try to be very open and upfront and let everyone know what we're doing in the community. Now when you get into things like what we're building, we'll keep a lot of that pretty close to the chest until it's close to come out. But everything else, in terms of the token, the coin, the people in the community, we want everything to be organic and transparent, and so people know exactly what they're doing here and understand that what we're ultimately trying to do is just find better ways to make better crypto products.
Yeah, something I've been thinking about more recently is gamification and people investing more than just their money. Okay, so when they buy the ROO token, by the way, we should mention, where can people buy it? So it's on Velar,
Right.
VELAR.com. And then you can swap Velar with Stacks. So if you want to buy ROO, and none of this is financial advice, of course, but we are here to help with research, do your own research, etc. But if you do want to get ROO, you head to Velar. So people can invest their money into something, but they can invest their time too. And I think this is what is at the core of community building, is that you're creating engagement. You're making it fun for people. So one thing I'd like to hear from you is like, what's the value of a token? Like, why does a project need a token? But what are the other aspects in addition to the number go up, the token concept? What else is there that's all wrapped up in community?
Well, I think that I don't understand the whole, well, why do we need a token, or why don't we need a token? And it's probably because I spent so much time in Ethereum. But to me, the token represents, especially with ROO, the token represents the actual experience. So ROO is almost like the ticket, right, to the experience, because just like with what we're doing right now with Stacks Invaders, and it's fun. And I know it can be frustrating with one picture, one NFT per block, but that's part of it. I mean, that's part of what's going on here. But even when we did Solana, and we have other ideas, we want to take crypto and find ways to make fun games, um, make things that support the health of the ROO token overall and through the long term. That's one of the biggest things is how, how do you get longevity out of a token? That's something that's hard to do, right? So, and community comes into that because, in my ideal world, you see, this in the next 10, 15 years, you see brands being built from, projects that have their founding in crypto and in crypto communities. And you have, product development, you have all of these different things that are focused on this group of people, what they've built, what they've contributed, and literal commerce being made. Now you have this thing, even now we already see in a shadow of that, where you can use ROO to help pay for services on the Cerulean marketplace at Zero Authority DAO, and just kind of see these things grow and find more use case for these tokens. But at the very big end of it, if you get right to the center of the matter, any economy is made up of people, and we want to see what these decentralized economies eventually turn into and what they look like. But I think that there are going to be like some tokens and some blockchains that just have, I hate to use the word tribal, but it's just going to be like, yeah, we're tribal about this particular token. This is our token. This is our community. This is what this is worth, and so forth, right? So a lot of that goes into the future a few years. We just don't see exactly what that's going to look like now, but it's super fascinating to think about, and can't wait to see how it shakes out.
Yeah, I know there's a lot that you're keeping, cards close to the chest right now. But let's talk about some of the experimentation that's already happened in the community. Maybe some projects that have either gone dormant or you've abandoned, and what is currently happening.
So shortly after we released ROO, we started working on something that we called Solana, which is this concept of the Solana experience inside of a token, right? And it was really, Solana was going to serve two points. It was going to be a way for us to actually burn ROO, which, so you're talking about a token that now has 41.1 million tokens, and opportunities to burn existing supply, which, helps holders, what they already have, become just that much more valuable every time you burn. But we also wanted to, when we minted Solana, people were able to use other meme coins from the ecosystem, such as Nothing and Leo and Welsh. And the idea behind that was because we had already had JOEY in mind and what we're going to do with JOEY. And that initial iteration of JOEY was going to require a lot of liquidity to start it. And so the game was a way to like be able to get some of that liquidity from these other meme tokens and transfer it to JOEY. And after the bottom fell out the market, we were like, well, no one's really testing this. Let's look at JOEY a little more.
Yeah. Okay. So JOEY is the DeFi aspect of your community. Is that right?
Yeah, JOEY is what we're working on now. JOEY is actually the reason why we have the Stacks Invaders Mint. We kind of accidentally, discovered the way that you could put DMT on Stacks through working on JOEY, which is kind of cool because at its heart, like you said, JOEY is a DeFi project. So you have to scratch your head here for a minute, being like, well, what do these NFTs have to do with it? Well, we're going to tell y'all soon enough.
It's happening. Well, so let's talk about the Stacks Invaders, the artwork for that, and I'll try to recap as best I can what DMT on Stacks means. So please correct me and like fill in the details if I'm missing it. But so DMT is kind of a form of inscription. It's inscribing information and data directly on the blockchain, just like you can do on Bitcoin. You can do that now on Stacks. Now, the artwork is derived from information every block. There's a new Stacks invader created every block, only one. And the artwork is derived based on certain parameters in the block, like the last two numbers will affect a color, things like that.
Right.
So there's that aspect of it where information from the block affects the art. But then this is all through JSON files. So it all lives directly on the blockchain rather than IPFS, which is the majority of how anyone who mints NFTs, they put their art on Ethereum or Stacks as it is now. It's always on IPFS, which maybe that's okay for some people, but it really isn't forever.
Right.
Like inscribing, like ordinals will be. So this DMT on Stacks is super intriguing, especially to me, because I know for me as an artist, I want my art to be around guaranteed forever.
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, so that's my quick recap from yesterday's discussion with Ian. So yeah, one piece of art every block, and I've been trying to get some. It's been failing every time because we have a lot of people. There's a lot of people. So is it? And you've clarified to people. You said like, don't donate all your money to the miners. If you if you increase the gas fees, it doesn't guarantee you that you're going to get one. So let's spend a little bit of time talking about the Stacks Invaders art.
You know, it's really cool. And so far, last time I checked, we've had 177 minted so far.
Nice,
which is pretty close to every block, which is pretty impressive to me. Yeah, it's so that's a lot of fun, and I know it is frustrating. That's why we didn't make it like expensive or anything. We wanted everyone to be able to play with this and give it a shot and not have to worry about because there are going to be some failed mints and so forth. But yeah, the DMT part is fascinating. You know, it's cool to actually take something and be the first to bring it to a chain always. But what's even cooler than that is when you already get the attention of other people in the space who are like, cool, let's build this out. Let's see where this is going. Let's explore this, see what's up, and then let's make a sip about it. Right. Like that to me is really cool. You know, because you're right. You know, we have a tendency in this space to get trapped in a box where we just think things are a certain way and that's how they are. But, you know, NFTs can obviously evolve, right? That's what you're talking about with IFPS and everything. I mean, they can evolve. DeFi can evolve. That's what we're going to see with JOEY. So that part to me is the part that I like the most. So what I like from the people I want to attract into the ROO community are the people who can understand that spirit and be like, okay, yeah, well, this token does have a lot of liquidity, so it's not going to just pump just crazy high every time someone looks at it, right? But the token has a lot of liquidity because we wanted to do things the right way, and we knew that as this ecosystem grows, that extra liquidity is going to help. And sure enough, by the way, a little side tangent on Velar, the top 5 tokens with the highest liquidity are going to be getting Velar rewards now.
Oh, nice.
You're right. Like, so I mean, that's Welsh. You know, obviously the tokens you can stake Velar with Stacks and a stable coin. And then let's see who else is in the top 5. But anyway, yeah, the top 5 up there are going to be getting increased rewards. So shout out to Velar for doing that for the community. That's really awesome.
Yep. I'm
Never
looking
seen an exchange do that.
It looks like top pools are Welsh, Velar, ROO, Odin. Leo is up there too.
Nice. Yeah, I love Leo. I use Stacks tools so much. So much. Like, and anyone in the audience who's kind of new here or not, I haven't really looked through the list. STX Tools is by Leo, and this is where you want to go check on the health of the tokens in the Stacks ecosystem. I mean, there's just so much data there. Wonderful protocol.
XTX Tools.
I think it's IO. Yeah, ststools.io. Like
Yeah.
this is how you know what's up. Like if you want to, CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap and things like that are fine for tokens you're going to see on Coinbase or whatever. But when you're on chain, something like this
Yeah.
should be your go-to for sure.
Well, holy smokes! I've been so busy. Sometimes I haven't been checking the market at all today. But yeah, Stacks is enjoying. It's at
Yeah.
2.46 right now, and it was just under $2 not so long ago.
That's what I'm saying. You're gonna see. You're gonna see. I would assume around September, solely just because of Nakamoto. You're
Mm-hmm.
really gonna see everything just pop off, and it's gonna get a lot of fun around here.
Yeah, definitely. Real quick, everyone, if you have not done so yet, if you're interested in the Whitelist Gamma Summer giveaway, do check out the tweet and check out those directions. I'm going to be giving those away at the end of the show, and we'll also check in with Brett a little bit later. All right, good. And if anyone wants to jump up on stage and throw some questions to Jack about ROO, please feel free to do so. I also want to talk a little bit now with you, Jack, about some of the art and artists that are amassing around this community. 300 is very 300 is everywhere. So as soon as something is happening in Stacks, he's the first one there making their theme song. So we're gonna close out the show by definitely hearing, like we did last week with Welsh. We're gonna hear his ROO song today. So yeah, what do you want to say about the art being generated around here?
Well, the first thing that's so cool about it is when I went to the artists. So we have Crypto Bear Barker. He's got a collection. Gigapeppy Spaceship Club. I was a fan of his art. He's kind of a newer guy to Stacks, but he has like this, I call it crypto pop art, right? Like he's taken Peppy and he's kind of mixed Andy Warhol and maybe like Salvador Dali with it, right? It's really cool.
Nice.
So he was the first
Real
one on
quick,
board. Go ahead.
300. Can you, or anyone else, can you throw me a link so that we can put a tweet up in the nest that will show everyone, like maybe there's some good tweet threads about the art. That way we can see it as you're talking. Sorry, Jack, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. And we got Nieta because I mean, obviously, if you're going to make art about kangaroos, you want as many Australians as humanly possible, right? I mean, that's just obvious. But yeah, Voodoo, Teflon Musk, Spaghetti Punks, Mendex, and there's a few others. And I was just like, look, I don't know how this is going to go. This is the plan. We're trying to do this for the culture. We're trying to raise awareness for artists, trying to bring eyes on NFTs. And these are all people who are like, yep, I'm in, down, and just immediately just start making this cool art. And so it's really helped us build a part of this community that if you're a token community, you typically don't have this much NFT crossover, and that's even before Stacks Invaders, right? So that was really cool. And so we have some other ideas we're going to do with these artists because, man, I mean, they have these like Gigapeppy Spaceship Club. I mean, they're a lot more well known now than they were when they started, and you see these things and it makes you excited. It makes you excited for them, but also it's very cool to be able to like, hey, let's make some cool art so we can do X, Y, or Z with it. And they're like, yeah, we're down. Because it gets back to that community thing. It gets back to the fun of all this. And that's just beautiful as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it really is. All right. Oh, good. You got that pinned up there. Good. So if anyone wants to see the art that we're talking about, it's in the nest. All right. Well, let me see what else is worth covering, because one thing that we love to do here at the lounge is education. And in your console, which we need to direct people to as well, in console you have just the general chat, obviously. Let me back up one step. Okay. People are going to be listening back on this. We also post this on YouTube. So our audience is more than just people listening in on the space here. So console is kind of like a real slick, clean version of Discord, and a lot more communities are jumping over to console because of that. So you guys are really one of the most robust and active. You have one of the most robust and active communities in console. So for anyone listening new, head over to console. We will pin that tweet in the nest as well, and you can access them through the ROO Twitter handle. So definitely head over to console. But yeah, in general, with the educational element, for anyone else thinking about either jumping in and contributing to this community, or anyone who is crazy enough to start their own token and community, you've touched on some of the things that have made this successful. We've seen in previous cycles how projects, tokens, communities have failed and how they've lost steam. What else can you talk about when considering making a thriving community?
Well, I think one of the things that's very important is the educational piece in any community, because what I'll tell anyone at any time when they're new here, I'll be like, look, find a good community, become a part of it, and you'll get through the worst part of the crypto learning curve a lot quicker than if you try to do it yourself. And that's just a fundamental truth. The hard part there is finding good communities, and anybody who's spent any time on other chains can verify that. I mean, it's difficult to find someplace that's at the same time welcoming and kinds of encourages you in the right ways, but also that's not full of people who are trying to steal the gold out of your mother's, fillings, right? Like you really, it's not easy to do, but they are out there. And I've been privileged to be a member of a lot of excellent communities. And, but the education piece is important because, okay, I'll give you for instance. I've been in here since 2017 or so. So I was here for the big DeFi summer on Ethereum. And so when we're building ROO and I'm talking about all this DeFi stuff that to me is just second nature, and like I'm seeing people not get it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I mean, these are people who probably came in after NFTs. They because you have new people coming in all the time in crypto. So there's so much that you as someone who's been here for years can like just take for granted that everyone else knows, and really they don't. So that puts them at a disadvantage. So I think a big part of a good community is a place where people can grow and ask questions and learn and be pointed in the right direction so that they can actually be better crypto market participants. If the more you know, the harder it is for somebody to scam you. Like the last however many times I got rug pulled, I knew going into it I was probably going to get rug pulled, and that's just okay because that's where my risk tolerance was, and I measured and sized my bets accordingly. What you don't want is to be like, oh wow, Bitcoin's worth $70,000 a piece, and this new token over here, it's only worth half of a penny, and as soon as it's worth as much as Bitcoin is, I'm gonna be rich. Like people really think like that, right? So like there's a lot of people I could be taken advantage of if they don't know about token supply, just all of the different things, why Bitcoin is special and why it's worth so much relative to why most of this stuff isn't worth anything at all. So yeah, the quicker someone can arm themselves with knowledge and experience, the more successful they're going to be long term. And so you want those people in your community. You want those people to make up your community. You want to build people. You want to build builders. You want to have an environment for people who are like, I want to do more and just be a retail participant that allows them to get on that path of how to be more than a retail participant in crypto. Because at the end of the day, this is the Wild West still. You can do whatever you want here. Go buy your pickaxe and go mine your gold, man. Like nothing's going to stop you. So I think that part's very important for everybody. Truly.
And I think a lot of people we all have our own opportunities to make mistakes, right? We learn through the mistakes. So you just got to try to make sure that the mistakes that you make are not like catastrophic, like getting sucked into like Celsius scams,
Right. Exactly.
So important what you say about education, because the more educated you are, the better decisions you can make when it comes to things like dollar cost averaging or balancing your portfolio. so that you don't, so that your first touch is like, oh, my friend told me about RooCoin. I just put like 50% of my portfolio into it. But I don't even know about what Bitcoin is, right? Because
Right,
like
exactly.
for many, like all roads lead to Bitcoin. Everything else is further out on the risk curve. But yeah, the educational element is so important. And in this ecosystem, like you said, it's the the wild west. And it can be, it's made even more kind of dangerous with people having anonymous identities or pseudonymous. And building trust is important. It can be extra challenging, but you look at look at Hero Gamer, for example. And you and so many of the other people in the space, we have no idea who they really are, but we know through their interactions in the community that they are trustworthy. And it's this element of it takes time. So the educational element of it is like, yes, have the resources, but also just know that it does take time for you to process all of this signal happening in the space. It does take time to become an expert and to like grow your knowledge about who some of these recurring like figures are, how trustworthy they are. Because what's the golden rule? One of the phrases in Bitcoin, it's don't trust, verify.
Exactly.
And that's an important ethos to like that lens is such a powerful one to take and cast onto every aspect of your life. So I love that you guys lean into education so much.
And it's one of the things that I'm gonna be talking to Hero about a little bit more, and the guys from Zero Authority, is for one, the reputation part is important, and thankfully we do have some foundation and stacks to build on reputation with apps like Zero Authority DAO and Trajan app. But really, another part that interests me is a way to like recognize people in the community at every level, whether they're like a Hero Gamer who's a leader of the community, and versus someone who's just always there helping their community, being active in their console or their Discord or what have you, or helping social media, or being a good holder, to be able to give these people badges or NFTs or some way to identify these wallets, to make these wallets stand out and be more desirable for projects that want to do things like airdrops when they're trying to start their community, right? So there's a whole interesting rabbit trail you can go down just with that alone. And that's one of the things that we're going to be looking at as things slow up here. On the development end, we haven't stopped building since we released. But that's something I'd be very interested in, because you do want to know who you're dealing with, to the extent that you do, and it's okay to be private. Privacy is a good thing. So really, reputation is and BNS and things like that. These all really help towards that end. So it's pretty exciting to see.
By the way, fun fact, if Hero Gamer's name is spoken 3 times, he magically is summoned to a space. So if anyone is wanting to get Hero Gamer into a space, just say his name 3 times and it's like Bitcoin magic. I do see some people coming up to speak. And
this space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
Questions. That invitation goes out to anyone. If you would like to jump up on stage, share out anything or ask questions, please do so. I also thought it would be a great opportunity, Jack, to talk about Zero Authority DAO and Trajan, because we were talking about reputation. And Trajan is something that is a platform that's been created to help people kind of share and establish trust amongst members of the community. So yeah, what could we say to introduce people to Trajan and Zero Authority?
That's the cool thing about this ecosystem, is it's growing, but it's still just not massive yet. But the fact that you can come here and you've got people building so many different cool things. Zero Authority's been at it building for years now. They have a decentralized marketplace where people can book gigs, right? Any kind of gig related to crypto.
Speaking?
Yeah, Hero. Jack is speaking right now. Do you want to hop back down and then back up again?
No, hop in, Hero. Yeah.
Okay, Hero, take it away, man. Jack was just finishing up, but yeah, hop in, so to speak. maybe Hero can't hear me now. Let's see.
Somebody only said his name twice. Almost got him.
That's it. Well, Stuart, welcome to the stage. How's everything in the land of Welsh?
Jack, how are you, my good man? Sean, how's
I'm
things?
doing good, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Listen, I love what you do, Jack. It's what you call hey, Roo, Coin, how's it going, man? How's things? Listen, I love what you do, man. I love 100% your ethos, your resilience, your continuation of
I can't hear Stuart right now.
Oh no, he cut out too. You cut out, Stu. I was worried it was just me.
Yeah, it sounded a little fuzzy.
Yeah, now I can't hear Stu. I can hear Jack and Longstreet. But this is why we need counsel. Counsel is better. For sure.
Yeah,
that's true.
I just want to. Can I chime in a little bit, super quickly?
Please do.
Yeah, and I think Jack's got exactly the same alignment with me in terms of wanting to have a system of rewarding or recognizing these people. It's not just about the reward, but it's also recognizing people. And tomorrow we are gonna talk about this very, very specifically topic under the governance and community track. And the leaders in the space, like Gordon, has taken up on himself this challenge of wanting to make sure this is the focus. And the reason why it sort of come up, somebody typing? So the reason why this topic has come up, I think, long in the ecosystem we don't have is something missing. And I started sort of thinking about it because we almost starting to have a small organization of D-grants contributors. Whether you see it inside or outside D-grants, you see people like taking up the ownership of each track, say the lead stewards, and you have the co-leads, and then you have the contributors contributing to the conversations. So, and I can see exactly the same thing across Stacks ecosystem. And I think having a better coordination in terms of how to recognize these people is super important. And I see it as a method of inspiration for the people. And the reason why I say that is because you want something to aspire to next. And I see the new people like Stuart rising up from the community. I see people like Hattie. Who inspired those people? How do we recognize them along each step so that, like Rosa became a community leader. And what we want is to make sure new people are inspired by these people. I think that's how we're going to be able to grow multiples of stewards in the space, multiples of Longstreet, Jack, Ian. And I think having a recognition and reward or reputation system is probably pretty key to this. Be able to inspire the next generation of leaders.
If I could, can everyone hear me now?
Yeah, Stuart, loud and clear.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Sorry, I wasn't sure if it was rugging or not. So yeah, I don't know if you heard before. I was saying, listen, Jack, I appreciate everything you do and how you inspire and continue to educate. But as I was saying, but if we just take this here from IRL in real life, people like to to become more get a better grade and things. They like to work up through the ranks, etc. And I think it is important, within the communities that you do give this recognition as well to even within communities, like, would you not agree?
No, 100%, dude. Yeah.
Let me just zoom out real quick. In the interest of anyone who is hearing about this first, Hero, he started something called the Decentralized Grants Program. They are in their second cohort right now. First cohort donated $25,000, and anyone could submit applications, projects, ideas that they wanted to build out. It went swimmingly well, and now they are in their second cohort. So when you hear Hero talking about these projects that he's working on, check out his pinned tweet. And similarly, what we're talking about is community and everyone finding their way to contribute something. Because you don't have to be a developer to be building on Bitcoin or to be building in Stacks. There's many ways that anyone can find a home, a way to contribute. So I just want to put that plug in from the 40,000 foot level on decentralized grants.
Yeah, what Hero's done is pretty amazing. Zero's in the audience. Speaking of Zero Authority DAO, hey, what's up, man?
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? ROO to the moon. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's
What's
go.
up?
Let's go.
What's up? What's up?
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh man, I can count on the energy level.
Yeah, loving the energy and the vibe.
Man. Oh, it's good to see familiar PFPs and hear familiar voices. So awesome. I've been a little bit tied up with the kiddos and had my baby boy 5 weeks ago now. So just been busy with the kids and trying to do everything that we've been doing at Zero Authority and all the partnerships. And just want to give a shout out to Jack and Ian for Kangaroo, the jumping coin. What an amazing arc of discovery, right? I think about a lot of people. Jack and especially you, Longstreet. I almost think of you guys as kind of like similar trajectories. You started with Stacks. You started building a community, started building your reputation. As you got more intertwined, you did more things. Then it came full circle where Longstreet, for you, you're working with the Leather Lounge now, right? You're community organizer, builder. Jack, you created this amazing meme coin community and you wanted to push the innovation. I mean, I consider you a friend. I consider you someone who mentors me. I mentor you. The things that you've been doing, we've been watching closely. I haven't, since I've been in Stacks, I've never seen anyone experiment with the Explorer page and go direct to the smart contract. I thought that was so cool. And what a great idea. What a great idea to get people to learn how does a smart contract work and why is this stuff why is it important when we say decentralized, permissionless, trustless, right? Those principles are like the underlying principles of all this stuff we're doing. I saw a tweet because I know these meme coins have been going crazy on Bitcoin, on Solana, on Stacks, right? And I saw Iggy posting about, well, I do have this. She had some cell phone service, and she said, well, you could pay with Mother or you could pay with Solana. And someone on the comment said, well, why don't you work with the people trying to build out a decentralized infrastructure? And she said, well, this is a competition, and that's the difference with people who are here in Web3 and people who believe in decentralized, permissionless, trustless systems. We're not building it so you could just have Web 2.5 and use a crypto to pay. We're doing it so when you pay with that crypto, like what we did recently, we said you could pay with Welsh, with Nothing, with Kangaroo in the gig marketplace, because these are not only cultural representation of value, but they're also payment networks. But it's also supposed to be on a decentralized network, right? What's the point if I just use my Bitcoin to pay T-Mobile, right? That loses the whole concept of why we started. And me and Huddle, we always used to say at the end of our videos, remember why you started, and remember why Satoshi started this, to have a system completely separate from the existing centralized systems where there's authorities who will promote their own things and will not give you any spotlight. So just wanted to say what I've seen with Nothing, with RooCoin, with Welsh. Support the people who are trying to push the boundaries. And I know there's a lot of competition, but I think of it as like co-opetition as well. As like, yeah,
Right.
I'm building this thing, and I do want to participate. It may be a little bit similar to this other thing, but at the end of the day, we do need to partner and help each other. And I do believe Stacks will continue to do that. And I'm just so excited. I need to find the tweet I was looking for. I just pinned it. I think one of the things personally, we all know that we've earned reputation in various ways. I mean, since I've been a part of Blockstack and Ethereum early, pre-17, 2017, I saw the whole ICO craze and everything. And then kind of fast forward to now, I see people working on Telegram together. I see people working on Discord. Now I see people working on Console. So the whole idea was not to create a reputation system, but create the gig marketplace so you get the concept of this is my reputation that I earn on a decentralized system. Because I saw other people like Trajan, right? They tried to just do endorsements on chain, which is really good. And Ragnar, he came to us about a couple months ago. He said, I'm going to get out of, I'm going to go away and do some other things. I would love for you guys to take this over. We worked out some deal. We worked out some magic with Orlando, and Trajan and Zero Authority is one entity under one company.
Good.
And so he saw what we were doing, and he thought we would be the best stewards to take this idea forward and promote it. And so everything we've been doing, I've always had the idea where we are selling reputation on Bitcoin and other chains, but I knew it was going to be too nebulous, too pie in the sky to get there. So the gig marketplace, the endorsements, this is a way to socialize, and so people understand. Okay, I see my name on this site. I know it's on this. It's owned by the smart contract. So even, let's say, even if we shut down, even if we don't exist anymore, you still have that reputation. Those smart contracts still exist, and you can still participate together.
Brilliant. Yeah, I got to see Ragnar speak in, let's see, it was last year at Bitcoin Miami for the Ordinals conference. It was like an event that happened before the Ordinals conference. And man, it was awesome. He's got a lot of great philosophy. So I'm curious to see what he's working on now. But I think that was a real smart decision for you guys to merge, because the concept is just fabulous. And like you said, it's going to be around forever.
Ragnar is a really smart guy. What we saw him building for months and months, we kept saying, hey, we need to work together. We need to find a way. And apparently he was plotting his next move to do something in the cybersecurity world with Bitcoin. Super smart dude. He's early Bitcoiner. Whatever he's working on, he's probably really early to whatever it is. He's kind of like an innovator in that way. So it was really cool that he thought of us in a high regard to take over something that he had built, and him and Haas had built that together, and Haas is still building stuff with us now. Hodl Stacks, my right hand man,
Yeah.
just Shill, my left hand man. So it's just amazing just to see the community come together. I see Stewart in the audience. What you guys have been doing with the 100-day giveaway with Welsh, completely organized by the community, decentralized. Those are the things I love to see. I see Zest in the audience too, and what they're building with the lending protocol. I mean, these building blocks are happening right before our eyes. I know sometimes, even me, I'm like, oh man, what's happening? It's kind of slow, it's kind of quiet, and then the next leg happens, and then boom, you see all this explosion of, I'm using the ROO coin for this thing. I'm playing the Invaders game, right, with my ROO coin. I'm on Welsh. I'm on Zest. I'm on Arcadico, right? And then obviously Valar has captured a huge amount of attention.
Mm-hmm.
And what Rainfire Matil is doing, absolute Chad. Love what they're doing. But one of the things I do want to say before I depart is I started this SIP process, and that's what I was looking for, because what I would love for people to do is read through this SIP. So this concept, we're going to totally decouple reputation from zero authority XYZ. Now, zero authority XYZ, we just wanted to get the ball started. We wanted people to earn reputation. We wanted that to be represented with a non-transfer NFT. We would love for you to use a BNS. We still have a lot of things coming in the pipeline. We're still working on what we call it a universal profile. So when you connect your wallet, you could have your profile attributes and you could decide to grant access. And that would be through Lether, through Xverse. We talk to them. They just don't have the time to do these things. We want to pick up that ball. We want to allow people to do that. That's just something that should happen, especially if you have a BNS. You should be able to go to any dApps on Stacks today, connect your wallet, and then have a message to sign the transaction, and then say, I want to share these attributes for my profile, whether that's my time zone, whether that's my name or my pseudonymous name, right? That should exist. Like, it's kind of silly that we have this amazing Web3 technology, but we go to every site and we have to redo our profile data, right? So
so ridiculous, right?
Right? It's crazy, but it's just been a hard problem to solve. Frieger started solving this problem a couple years ago, and he said, you guys should finish working on this. So we would love to hopefully get that done this year. The other thing, and I was looking for it and I couldn't find it, but what I would love for people to do, and I'll pin it later. So we started the SIP process, and the SIP process is Stacks Improvement Proposal. So when you're looking at fungible tokens, that's called a SIP 10. The non-fungible tokens, that's a SIP 9. So these are standards, very similar to Ethereum standards. The standard that we want to start is the reputation framework. And what this reputation framework will do is allow anyone doing on-chain activities to fit it into this category. And that category would it'll allow you to mint your non-transfer NFT. You own it in your wallet. And then we're going to talk to every other apps to make sure that they support the standard and that they're supporting our builders, our creators, and everyone who is participating and earning reputation. Now, they could implement this in different ways, in various ways. We have this algorithm that we're going to jump on top, and it'll be on top of the protocol where it would have this reputation score. And you could see in various ways, am I earning? Is my reputation going up? Is it going down? They don't have to use that algorithm. And what we're doing is a derivative. It's called the Eigentrust algorithm. This really smart this guy, he had his PhD. He created this algorithm where it can define trustless systems in a decentralized networks. We really I've been reading through it. A couple other people have been reading through it. I think that is like the implementation. But where we're going to start is just very simple. If you do these on-chain activities, you earn this non-transfer NFT. And that's going to be a form of, this is my reputation. Now, that's separate from identity, because identity is a whole nother layer and a whole nother complexity. But reputation, what we're going to start and where we're going to start is just, you're doing on-chain transactions, you're participating in the Stacks Invader game, you're minting NFTs on Gamma, you're on Zero Authority, doing bounties, gigs, or endorsements. All of these things that you do on chain will have these non-transfer NFTs that are part of your reputation. And we just need to make it really simple to start.
There's so much I want to circle back to, but okay, so there's this element of like gamification again that we're coming back to. It's like gamifying reputation. Identity is the thing that you want others to see, and reputation is the thing that others see about you. And everything on the blockchain, obviously you can find it, but it takes digging. If you want to like research someone, to do some due diligence and find if someone is trustworthy, you got to do a little due diligence and digging. I love this idea of what you're bringing. I had a couple of other Stacks projects come to mind that I wanted to mention. So when you were talking about BNS is Bitcoin naming service. So if anyone doesn't have your .btc name, go scoop one up. Super easy. Yeah, whatever, you can come up with your own anonymous name. You can do it like my name is longstreet.btc. So, and then you can use that also to send NFTs or to send stacks. So it's easier than saying, here is my address, with 20 numbers and letters. So there's the BNS, Bitcoin naming service. I also wanted to shout out a bit of an OG, and this is owl.link. So this is kind of like a link tree that you can use, but it's built on Stacks. So yeah, definitely check out owl.link. But then also there's another Stacks project called Sigel. So if you go to app.sigel.io, that's kind of like a blogging platform. You can check that out as well. And then Zero Authority, you guys are on the websites zeroauthority.xyz and trajan.app, TRAJAN.app. And that is the decentralized reputation exchange protocol. So Zero, I always appreciate you coming up and sharing your knowledge. I've got a hard stop in 18 minutes, so I want to make sure that we can get to everyone. Football, and there was someone else a little bit earlier. Yeah, football, is there a question that you had?
Yeah, there is, thank you. First of all, thanks for having me up. Yeah, shout out to Leather. I've got a Leather wallet. I've got some ROO coin as well. So I'm reasonably new to this space, but I discovered Stacks because I like the fact that it was a layer 2 for Bitcoin. It sort of made a perfect sense as an investment. But in light of the track and tap, do you think that that's going to affect how the Stack ecosystem grows?
I didn't understand your question. The track and tap?
So that's like layer 1 directly on Bitcoin. So they're sort of developing a way that you might be able to have DeFi on chain. Do you think that will potentially affect Stacks development, or do you think that Stacks has got a sort of different path?
Yeah, the L2 landscape is like rapidly growing. And then some things are changing with L1 as well. I think everything is going to shake out and we will see, what is doable. I think Stacks is the leading L2 and for various reasons it strikes that right combination of it's decentralized and it brings smart contract functionality to Bitcoin and it finalizes on Bitcoin. Right now, the Stacks blocks are married or mirrored to Bitcoin blocks. But post Nakamoto, every 5 to 10 seconds, we're going to get new Stacks blocks that ultimately have finality on Bitcoin. So yeah, I mean, there's so much developing happening. We just have to see, and when something new comes out, it's going to take a little bit of testing before we realize, before we find the bugs. Stacks has been around a long time, so I think it's when people are trying to figure out how to allocate their time and what to research, it's definitely in the top for me. Hero, you want to speak to that at all?
Yeah, so football, were you talking about L1 DeFi?
Yeah, so
and how that impacts L2?
Yeah, that's correct. So when I first got into
so I'll give you my
reason for sort of investing in
I'll
Stacks
give you my
originally was that it made sense DeFi. I thought that's basically Ethereum on Bitcoin. But then hearing about what the guys on Tap and Track are sort of developing is almost like we've got layer 2, but if they're able to do it at layer 1 and you can spend your Bitcoin directly and do DeFi with that, as opposed to having to sort of lock it up. And I know Stacks are working on a system where you get SBTC, but it seems like it would be simpler on layer 1. So how would Stacks still stay relevant?
I think we can all cool understand your question now. So yeah, I think we all know there's a lot of development happening on layer 1 and layer 2, but what you cannot avoid on layer 1 is the transaction time. Like you cannot make Bitcoin go faster, right? It's every average 10 minutes, sometimes it's 50 minutes. So you cannot do complex DeFi on layer 1. You can only do non-time sensitive stuff on layer 1, long term. And the more protocol that develop on layer 1, what is going to happen to the fee on layer 1 is going to go up. And unless you're, kind of above average rich, yes, you can still operate your non-10 sensitive DeFi on layer 1 should you wish to choose that, because you have the ability to pay for the gas fee. So as these protocols coming up online, as more L2 settlements happen on L1, you're going to see competition of L1 gas going up. So for the mass, I would say it's not realistic to operate day-to-day DeFi on layer 1. And I think this is where the strength of layer 2 comes in, because you can have faster transaction and have cheap transaction that is still settled to layer 1. Yes, it's not native per se, but you can settle back down every now and then. You don't need every transaction natively on layer 1. So yeah, I think that's my take. Like long term, it's not sustainable on layer 1.
Thank you. That's that makes perfect sense. Cheers.
Cool. That's a great question, Hero. You answered it perfectly as expected. Footballer, I think you have a lot of really good perspective being someone new in the ecosystem. Everyone that's been speaking so far has been around for at least like 3 years, if not longer. So your perspective as someone new is going to be really helpful. So man, I just encourage you, like keep reaching into any of these communities and bring your value, bring your questions. But yeah, man, you're welcome.
Tuesday is a super DeFi day, by the way, football. Tuesday, there's Stacks DeFi show, 10 a.m. ET, probably like a 3 p.m. UK or something. And then you have straight after that, D-Grants DeFi at 11 a.m. ET. So tune in on Tuesday Spaces, basically, if you're interested in DeFi.
I will do. Thank you.
Nice. Well, let's take this moment to talk about some art. So another Stacks project that has now expanded into ordinals is gamma.io. And we always get a little check-in from Brett from Gamma. He lives in Australia, so it's like 3:30, 4 a.m. for him. So he can't make us in person, but he always sends me a little recording. So we're going to check in from Brett, and then I'm going to announce the winners of the Gamma summer giveaway whitelist that I'm giving away. So let's hear from Brett here.
Hey there, Leather Lounge. Pleasure to be back. This is Brett, or Eli Herf from Gamma. This is, I guess, Gamma Corner number 3. Hope you're having a great X space with the man Longstreet. I'll keep this one short and sweet. We kicked off our generative highlight over June and July with Raylan Ark, who was part of the Sotheby's drop. She has a gorgeous drop called Matrix, and there's going to be drops on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So if you're curious about generative art and the possibilities on Bitcoin, definitely jump onto Gamma and have a look. We will also be kicking off the Gamma Summer Pass, which will be a pass to some brilliant drops by very high-quality artists, including an airdrop from the man Billy Resty, who needs no introduction. Go check him out. He is definitely one of the pioneers on Bitcoin ordinals. We also released the Gamma Partner Portal. So another perk of being one of the Gamma Partner artists is that we present you with lots of different opportunities. You get access to parts of the product in our site that no one else gets to. You get lots of highlights and features and whatnot, but now you get this all-in-one kind of home base that only partners can access. So, you can jump. If you're an artist out there who wants to learn more, feel free to DM me at EliHerf1 on Twitter, or jump onto Gamma and you can apply to become a partner artist yourself. So definitely encourage all artists to apply, but you don't have to be a partner to drop with us. If you want to learn how to drop on Bitcoin or on Stacks, just hit me up and we're here to help, partner status or not. What else can I tell you? Finishing off, it's been great to see a bit of volume happening on Stacks. You can see the Mojo collection still sitting at number 1. Some of the more old school collections like Happy Welsh and Bitcoin Birds and Megapon, this is number 1. Project Indigo, all doing a little bit of volume. So always check out the OG Stacks projects because they've been here since 2021. And I would imagine that they are going to be here for a lot longer. So I think that about wraps it up for today. And I look forward to giving you the weekly digest next week. Ciao.
Awesome. Thanks, Brett, for sending that recording in. I just personally want to give a big shout out and thank you to Gamma. They started as a platform called Stacks NFT. And my journey into Stacks started as an artist, a musician, a photographer, and I was releasing NFTs, and I started working with them right away. And they have been super artist focused. So anyone listening, if you are an artist, you can go to the website and check out how to start releasing your art. And if you are a collector, that really is a real, it's the best way, real slick, so easy to find new artists and artwork that resonates with you. So that being said, as a Gamma Partner artist, I was given 2 whitelists to give away for their summer program. So I want to announce the winners, and a couple of you are in the spaces here. So congratulations to, I need to find my list here, my picker. Congratulations to BRC20 News and Riot. Riot, you won twice, so I had to spin again. So BRC20 News and Riot, thanks so much for retweeting, following, and providing your Taproot address. I'll give you the whitelist by the end of the day. So thanks again for that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we just have a couple minutes left. So if you do have a burning question or anything to share, please tap that unmic button and go for it.
Hey, this is Michelle, Big Goddesses. I have a question for the ecosystem. First question is, do you guys think that we could have multi-sig on the Bitcoin soon? You know, like for DAOs and stuff. And number 2 is, do you guys have any plans to make Bitcoin ecosystem DAO friendly?
Jack, Hero, I think either of you can answer that well.
I don't personally spend a whole lot of time thinking about DAOs because I think that they're in an iteration of something that's more efficient, more effective that's going to be coming later. That said, there are a few DAOs on Stacks specifically. I can't speak to the other L2s because there's like 60 or 70 of them building right now. But what was it? Stacking DAO actually had a framework where they offered just the skeleton for several different DAOs, and it was developed by attorneys and so forth, so it was compliant. But I don't believe it's called Stacking DAO anymore. Hero might remember what they were called. You remember what I'm talking about, Hero?
I think Stacker DAO.
Yeah, they're still around.
I don't know. I haven't seen activities much. I think DAOs on Stacks is a little early. I think a lot of communities are operating like a DAO, but without putting the logo like DAO on it. But they are essentially doing DAO stuff. So it really kind of depends, like, how do you define that? Because you don't really need a token or a DAO label to operate exactly like a DAO, I guess.
Yeah, just a little bit background. So I'm kind of like an OG. I've been in the ecosystem for a long time. I was actually counselor at PayPal from 06 to 12, and then know about Bitcoin in 12, and then 17 was advising a bunch of different companies that have raised tons of money and all that, and I mentor at different accelerators. Recently, I've been helping the IEEE with DAO governance, and of course, I'm familiar with the Ethereum and other sides of DAO because I also make the first e-governance conference for Web3 with my co-founder, who founded, who's one of the co-founder of BitNation. And also had a Telegram group on governance. But the question I'm asking you is just because, and coming from Sarbanes-Oxley backgrounds, from, all the scams in 2013 on the Web2 side, and then seeing all the things that happen in Web3, I think, and I know that is new, and that's why I asked about the DAO in the Bitcoin ecosystem and the ability to have multi-sig, right? So I'm a key holder for one of my friends, and like I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I get threatened because I have the keys to it, and and then I ask about, of course, succession planning. Like if there's one person holding the key, if that person die, what happened after that, right? So. And it's important, and so I know that it's DAOs and multi-sig is new on all the wallets, but I just my statement is that I wanted to see someone build it, and I think the guidelines. I'm chopping 17 pages on the guideline, so it's going to be out on the IEEE site once it's published. We did the governance one, last quarter. It's published. That one is published already, but so we're gonna have that framework. But I just wanted to know what the technology is, and if people in the community has
Yeah,
thought about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
We actually have a multi-sig on Stacks and Ordinals called a Signa. But yeah, you're right. There's a lot of stuff. But I'm happy to take it offline because I know Longstreet gotta close it. But I'll chat with you offline because I'm pretty into governance on Stacks as well.
Okay,
So
thanks.
let's have a conversation.
Yeah, Big Goddess, thank you so much for that question. Yeah, guys, I wish I could keep it going. Hi, Rolo. I know you're just jumping up, but I really do have a hard stop. So, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Do check out our pinned tweets before we close out. Check out what's happening in ROO in the console. And yeah, thank you again, everyone, for checking in on this episode of the Leather Lounge. Leather is your gateway to everything Bitcoin, from DeFi to stacks, ordinals, runes, stamps, NFTs, and more. Visit our blog and Learn Center at leather.io and join the conversation on X every Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Once again, everyone, thanks again for joining us in the lounge.